Check, check. Welcome in, guys. Glad to see some faces in here, some of the regulars like usual. It's Easter Sunday evening. We'll see how many people we get. It's a small class. We'll have plenty of time to talk about stuff. So as usual, we'll give it 1 or 2 more minutes. Put your request in the chat if you want to go over something. But we will do SPY and QQQ as always, no matter what. But glad to have you guys in here. Yep, SoFi. I will get on a list for you. I'll send out one more alert. Like I said, I expected tonight to be a little bit slow, and it is so far. We got less than 20, so we'll roll with what we got. But I'll get down to SoFi as well. Calling hymns. All right, let's do it. Let's see. SoFi bullish hymns. Bullish. Kath, good to see you. Glad to see you in here each week, putting in the work. All right, one last server ping, and we'll get started. All right, guys. Also, we got a small class. I'm going to give you guys the ability to unmute your mics if you want to talk over a setup, or if I go over something too quick or need clarification, just unmute your mic, ask a question. Obviously, be polite if there's a couple people talking or want to ask questions. And, we can definitely talk stuff over, but let's not try and burn up too much time. But we got a small enough class. You guys, I think, will have the ability to let you guys vocally talk on the mic if you want to, if it's a little bit easier, because sometimes it's just weird for me talking into a computer for an hour and not hearing things. So yeah, guys, with that, we'll get started. Let me check the chat for, let's see, him's got that. Finn, it's good to have you in here. GKASTS. I looked at that weekend. Is that you, brother? IWM, yep, just get current levels, definitely. Good start for sure. All right, guys, SPY and QQQ, kicking it off as usual. Thinkorswim just updated. If we remember, let's just go back a little bit. We got some time. So we were talking up here. If you guys remember, when we were talking, we kind of opened right here at this level here last Sunday night. Anything over 534, we mentioned that big overhead, 544 to 546 zone, to not necessarily dive in puts, but just more so not be late dive in calls. We've basically just trickled down. And if you guys remember that 525, I've looked at my notes. That 525 is common middle zone. So this is kind of my, upper zone in here, and we get over, this is my caution zone. And this right down here in the middle was just my middle of the ground zone. Play the bounces off here. We can see it paid. Anything under, and we can see what happens when we get under 525. I think we slowly stair step down into this lower range here. I don't know if we get this how quick, but again, that is my focus this week. As of now, we're opening at or around 525. So that's the level to watch. If you guys are a little bit seasoned traders, you could just take the wheel from there from 525. If you guys are a little bit newer, need a little more education, advice, a little more help on the charts, so to speak. Pay attention to my tab tomorrow. They'll definitely, if we open anywhere around 525, that'll definitely be the focus on my notes. Because again, this is a 1 hour chart, you guys, meaning each candle is 1 hour of information. And we can see once we break 525, the selling pressure that kicks in. Sometimes we reclaim it, sometimes we don't. Sometimes it takes a while to do so. So any reclaims over, we can see the big move, the big reaction over. So I'll keep it short and sweet on SPY because it's fairly, for me, it's cut and dry. It is, a slow downtrend of, these highs are getting lower. Breakouts are not following through. They're not holding. And so it's just a trickle down until buyers can hold this level, prove to me a breakout over the trend line, or we sell down, breakdown retest. Like I always say, a breakdown retest, get your puts at 525 closest you can, because that's where your risk is small enough. So like I said, it's fairly easy for me this week. One thing I will add is this 525 zone. If you guys know my charts and see my charts, this stair stepping purple line is the daily 9 moving average, the daily 9. So not like an intraday 9 or 15 or 21 that people play. This is the daily level. So it pushed up a little bit with a push up. Now to sell down, it's probably going to be stacked right here. So if we start kind of playing around this level and it looks like some chop, I'm going to be a little bit hands off, but definitely if we're over it, I'm leaning bullish first. I'm not going to take puts when a moving average is stacked right there along with support. But again, any break below that, and that's 2 forms of support giving away. And it's not just any support, it's a very, very big level. I've talked about, I felt like, pretty much the whole month of April. So very, very important level there. Anybody have any questions kind of at around that level? If I don't see anything in the chat, I'll move on to Qs, but I'll give you guys a second to unmute your mic or let me know in the chat. But again, 525 is my focus tomorrow. And I really hope we open around it, because it to me, it's a lot easier to play those plays versus a huge gap up or a gap down. We're kind of talking here last Sunday, we gapped up, makes it a little bit tricky. We gap up, $5, $6, $7. So that is my game plan on SPY tomorrow. I mean, targets, if calling it, if I'm, it's hard to give targets on SPY because you guys play zero DTEs. I do not. So on a Monday, I will typically play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday contracts. And so my targets are different. So from that perspective, if I, I don't alert SPY, but if I were, this is a hypothetical. If I get in here at 525, I'm immediately, or before that, let me back up here on my words. I'm on probably the 15-minute or the 30-minute here. Let me move this. So if I enter here at 525, my targets, my area of interest are all these pivots that I always say, these candle body closes I talk about week after week, Colin. So for me, if I enter here, I'm looking for a push up to this cluster here. But if you guys are in zero DTEs, I can, like I said, if I buy Monday morning right here, I alert it hypothetically, I have 3 days to expiration. I can handle 15, 20, 30 minutes of chop, 10, 15% red, 10, 15% green, and then a breakout to this level here. You guys like to play zero DTEs, or most of you, generally speaking. I don't want to clump everybody in that. So, let's go to 5-minute time frame. If you guys get in, oh, what the hell happened to my chart? Why did that do that? All right. Thinkorswim is not playing nice right now. Zoom. There we go. All right. Back to my thought. So if you guys are buying zero DTs, again, right here, you can't really afford to sit and chop around here because you're going to lose your value. Also, on that, you should be looking, a zoomed in look. You don't have much time. So your first target shouldn't be up here. Zooming in the 5-minute, I can see 2 or 3 levels before this level I would absolutely be targeting. And that's this little cluster right here. So if we kind of look to the left here, that's probably like 525.50. These top side wicks here, this low of the not the afternoon towards the close, definitely would be a target. So you'd have to look left, set an alert right here. Before we even get to this, 526.3 zone or whatever it is. And so it varies because, again, if you were asked this question buying leaps, it's like, okay, if I buy leaps, which means it expires in 365 days or more, yeah, I can trim here, but I have an entire years of time. Like I probably want to let the play out. So hopefully that answers your question, Colin. It just depends on what you're in. And so SPY and QQQ, it's hard to give levels because, if I have 4 days of time, I don't want to say, oh, my upper range target's 531, and then people on zero DTs are be looking for that. But a break of 525 and literally just go the 5-minute. Like I always say, look left. So we get in at 525. I'm looking left. I'm definitely, that's the low of, the previous day. So previous day low, previous day high, previous day open, previous day close. If you're not good at charting, you guys, and you can only mark out 4 levels of interest every single day, those are the 4. Previous day, open, close, low, and high. So again, we take puts on a break of 525. I'm looking for Friday's low, which is also lines up perfectly with that. No accident there. We start selling down. We start looking at this level here, or we can zoom left even more, or go left even more and even find some targets in between here on the way down. But again, something with SPX, you guys play SPY, it's really hard to give levels unless someone asks me like in real time, like, during the market hours. But cool. QQQ. Last week, I think QQQ was slightly easier to trade. This week, I don't like it as much as SPY. And so I'm kind of, I got this drawn here. Again, Thinkorswim has this right down here at 433.22-ish right now. So how do we play this? Where do we find an entry? My first thought is if we break out of this, I leave this here and I watch this. So any pushes, let me extend this just a bit. Oops, extend this just a bit. So I grab this wick here, I grab this wick here. So first plan of attack, I'm on the 1-hour chart here, just a larger look here is, what happened with this chart? We broke down. Again, this purple line is the daily 9. If we just extend it over, we just broke under it. So that is one bearish signal short term. We broke kind of this cluster here, 54457, that was kind of just our mid to upper range pivot. This was kind of the upper range we're playing around yesterday. And this is kind of middle ground. We see we get under it, big sell pressure over it, big bounces on it. And so my plan tomorrow is to watch, first and foremost, any pushes up to this 44457. So any attempts into there, which would also sort of line up with this trend line, again, to grab that wick there. Any failed breakouts or a push and a hard sell down or hard rejection, I'm looking to complete or continue this slow stair step down to be bearish on the day. Doesn't mean I'm looking for targets way down here during the day. I'm keeping it, on a Monday, I'm keeping it fairly moderate. So we break 44457, and I think this 442 comes pretty easy because we see from just Thursday and Friday alone breakdown. Obviously, I think we had Jerome Powell on the mic here. How quick, when this level sells, how quick buyers kind of give up, at least short term, that is. And so again, a sell down here, I think we get this easy tomorrow. That'll probably be my notes tomorrow. But we can be bullish too. So any breakout of this trend line, any break and hold, again, if you guys want to take notes, 44457 is the first plan of attack that buyers need to reclaim for me to be bullish on the day. Any reclaim of that, kind of a zoomed in, exaggerated chart here. And I'm looking for that 44637. So why does that level stand out to me? Because you can see we bounce this level here. If I go to a smaller time frame, just to make it easy on you guys, Friday's price action, we reclaim this level here that I talked about. And what do? We push up. Where we're rejecting mostly. Look at all those rejection topside wicks. If you need to figure out where to sell your calls, figure out those topside wicks. 30 or 50-minute candles back to back to back to back, and then finally a small leg down. Reclaim it again. What do? We push up, reject it again, push up. Look at all those topside wicks. Again, sell down, back under 44637. You guys, larger time frame analysis always wins to find your targets. Always wins to find your targets, your bigger picture, where to buy puts and calls. QQQ, does that make sense to everybody? I don't see any comments in the chart, but as of now, small gap down. But again, open. If you trade the open, take your calls into here. Absolutely. For a first Monday morning trade, I'd just sell everything there. Take your money because it's hard to make money in this market. You catch calls at the open, assuming we open right here. Take your calls, boom, push up. Maybe you're in 5. Okay, leave 1 for a breakout. But don't hold a full position here, seeing this price action here from Friday and being greedy with your calls because you want to make a lot of money for whatever reason. Any sells under this, and obviously we didn't make it back to there. We see this little cluster here that's my focus. It's no accident how we opened right there. So a sell under and rejection of this little cluster. And again, I think we get to that quick and easy. A sell under that, it gets pretty ugly pretty quick for buyers, at least for the day. But again, don't ignore lows of the day, lows of the week, stuff like that. All right, chat's quiet. Got some more people rolling in. That's good. 20 people. Kind of shocked. All right, SoFi was first. Let's take a look. Let's see. SoFi long until May 16th. I'm assuming you got May 16th contracts, or maybe that's earnings, but let's zoom out. Let's take a look at SoFi. Is that earnings? Nope. Earnings are on the 29th. All right. What am I seeing here? Just looking. All right. All right. All right. All right. I like this. I like this. All right. So for me, the way I chart, fairly easy setup, fairly easy targets. Let me get something going for you here to visualize what I'm seeing, why I'm seeing it, why I trade like this. So first of all, if we don't look at recent price action, come down into support, sell through daily 9 or daily 200, excuse me, buy back over support, call it demand. Demand's in a large area. This would typically be green. When we're bouncing it, we bounce, we push over. Come back into it, bounce, holds again, sells through it, immediately I would turn this red like I just did, just for education purposes. We sell through support 1135. It is now resistance. So what do we see? Buyers are giving up, for now in this zone here. What do? We go down the next support, bounce it. Now we're trickling. Now we're clawing back up to that level. How do we play that? If you're already in and you're in profit, hopefully you got in some here around the dip. But this is a fairly easy chart for me because I know my targets. You guys already know what I'm going to say. 1135, absolutely. So user requested this. If you're in down here and you seen this move, you didn't sell. We didn't quite get there. That was after hours move, so it doesn't really matter for options for us. But we see we're pushing towards. So it's a huge overhead supply area, huge overhead resistance. One form of support. Okay. What else do we have? Daily 200 that moves slow as a turtle, slow as a snail, moves very, very slow. Next form of resistance. What is this green line? That's our daily 20 moving average. It is stacked right there. That's the third form of resistance. So, be bullish, that's fine, but bullish up until here. Don't watch this move down here or this move, this consolidation zone here, this consolidation breakout. Don't watch the move and go, okay, now I want calls 1135. No. You sell your calls at 1135. You wait for a breakout. Let me clear this, it's getting messy. You wait for potentially a breakout retest. I know I'm drawing after hours and just for education purposes, a breakout retest, and then you get your reentry on calls for a possible leg up. Take it to 1182. You break 1182, breakout retest, you're right up for more. Because now you have your daily 9 curled under, your 200, and your daily 20 all underneath you, and what was resistance right here is now support. So long term, you guys that want to be shareholders or on leaps, I would set an alert for 1182 because if we sell through it, if you're in shares, if you buy at 1182, we sell through 1135. Look what you're risking on shares, 4%. That's nothing. To buy the dip on support and you're risking 4% red on shares, that's easy. For a first big target, 7% overhead, it's a damn good start for a risk reward profile. But yeah, if you guys are seeing this chart not in yet, there's a little bit of room here, possibly this week, Monday, Tuesday. But again, up until here, I'm not taking entry on calls here. When I see price action like this, rejection, sell through, hard sell, this is a big level. There's, we're trading against algos, computers, whatever you want to call it. There's going to be sell orders sitting here, parked here. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Doesn't mean we can't push over, but we can definitely see it. And actually, if we got time, I want to check some flow on this. I think there's a big flow hit here. I think it was last Friday, one of these up days they bought. There's some flow here, I think. So I have to take a look at that. But hopefully answers your question. If not, jump on the mic and I will help you more on this. Otherwise, we will move on. Hims. Bullish. Ooh. Another decent chart. I'm on the 4-hour chart. And we can use this shaded area again because it makes sense for what we're talking about here. Why? There we go. Bottom right. Boom. Same thing as SoFi, but flip the other way. So HIMS, we're selling into a huge demand to buy shares, a big support. So you see, again, I'm on the 4-hour chart. Let me condense my chart a little bit. Sell, sellers in control. What do? We come into this 24, well, let's call it 24 to 26 pocket, just for a round number to make it easy. Okay. So again, similar situation, but just the opposite theory of how we're doing this. So again, if you're bearish on HIMS, which this person, Colin, was not, but just for the class here, if you're bearish, it's like you get bearish into here and you stop being bearish because guess what? Sellers not making any progress. Sellers a little bit of progress, but guess what? Big buyback up. Sellers, no progress. How many days do you have to see this level hold before you quit trying to short at support? Not saying anybody in here, I'm just saying, generally speaking, when you see bounces like this, since guys, this is March 28th, is, it sold through here pre-market, but it bought back up. So since March 28th, it has held this level. Okay. So Colin was looking to be bullish on this. Was that the right person? Yeah. So perfect. So Colin, same thing. Daily 200, it's creeping slow. It moves slow, but it's absolutely a form of support. And it is now your form of support. So keep an eye on your daily 200, your daily 20, your green overhead, and your daily 9. Best case scenario for you, if you want to be a shareholder or swings, these are going to catch up. Any form of consolidation down here, these are going to catch up and eventually curl under. And I talk about this week after week. When you want to catch a swing play and you catch the breakout of this, and now all these moving averages are underneath you, that's how you make the big moves on swings and options and shares. From a day trade perspective, let me zoom in for you because I'm on the 4-hour chart here. Let's go to 15. And we can see all these little buybacks here. Sellers will say, hey, let's sell this under 26.67. Buyers say, nope, not today. Sell under, gap up. Guess what? Buyers are like, nope, we're not ready to give this level up. Okay, where do we buy the dip at? It's pretty obvious to me, 26.67. You got to have a reasonable stop. I can't, with a support here and a moving average here, and I see this buyback recently, I'm never going to enter calls here and just say, oh, my stop loss, I'm scared, it's 10%. You're going to get stopped out every single time. So, enter here with confidence that it's held, like I said, since, an entire month. Colin, let me know in the chat. Are you looking, let me look back. Are you looking at shares or options like a day trade? Let me know if you're still in the chat and I'll walk you through this, how I trade this. But if you just want perspective on it, that's fine too. But otherwise, we'll move on. But day trade, perfect, love it. All right. So if we get a little bit weak on the market, again, pay attention to, are we weak with like really bad tariff news? I probably, if we're just knifing in the market, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I would skip a possible, dive into calls here and just kind of see. But if SPYs, sideways are trending up, and SoFi just had a little bit of a dip pre-market sells into this, I would absolutely buy that dip for a day trade. And then, like I talked about before, guys, let me get back to this here. For price targets, again, I'm on the 15-minute. We have some really, really nice price action from this week. So it's basically you take your 27 call at the price level 26.67 and you look left. You grab that wick there. You grab this little cluster here. You see the push, consolidation, breakout. What do? We come back to this level here. Does it line up? Does it make sense? Look left, that wick there, that Thursday closer, absolutely. Break over, basically over, let's just call it 27. You start looking at this upper range here from Friday. Break over 27, we're super bullish on the day. You caught the bottom, go grab that daily 9 for a final target for the day. Does that make sense where it looks left? Absolutely. That Thursday price action there. So again, you guys, everybody watching, chart, your trade plan, find your trade plan on a larger time frame, 30-minute, 1 hour. Mark your levels and then zoom in on the 15, 5 minutes, say, does it make sense? Yeah, it makes sense. And then you find your targets here to sell. Where do you sell? And you just set alerts and you wait for them to trigger and boom, you sell. All right. GK wants ASTS. I feel like we've been talking about this. I trade for a lot. And I actually looked at this today because I figured Crash Miss was going to ask me about it. Fidelity says short term, some headwinds. Long term, it's a good investment. Growth ability on this company is good. Financials don't look super good. Something else, I should have took a screenshot for you guys. But again, someone was asking about this, I think, in Trade Floor. Basically, my plan with this for shares or calls, or options, 21.64 is my lower zone. We sell under that. We see what happens when we get under that, the selling pressure that ensues. When we get over, we can see the bounces that happen. This is a news day with tariffs. Can't really, count it, but can't really. But we can see when we get down into that, how the buying, algos start to kick in. Upper range should be fairly obvious. You guys looking at this chart from last week, where sellers are still parked. Definitely start trimming at 24. Definitely trim heavy at 24.4 if you don't already, because this is a smackdown range. If you're in shares, the bounce back and forth, you might be frustrated, but it's just consolidation zone, building for a larger move. Which way is that move going to go? I'm not sure. Resistance is overhead, 2 moving averages overhead, but now 1 moving average underneath and another support underneath. So right now it's strictly range trading, which isn't such a bad thing if this has good options liquidity. Puts up here, calls down here. Definitely. Now on a larger time frame 4-hour chart, we can see zoomed out. We hit this last October through December, basically consolidation, big breakout, push, and now we're back into it. And so if you're an investor, it's a good spot to be patient, but it's a good level to buy if you believe in the company off these levels here. You don't want to buy up here. You want to buy when stuff is on sale. And yeah, guys, I see your requests trickling in. I'm going in order as always, so just scroll in the chat. Laura, IWM. Don't have any plans, just levels. Perfect. Haven't tried this one in a while, but we will see how things line up. Gave up the big 200 zone, 210 zone. Gave up 192 last week, or no, we pumped to that last week. Yeah, we need a couple more levels in here for you guys. Most of us are day traders. Let's figure out here. I'll go the 1 hour. It's kind of my bread and butter. Where are we getting calls? Where are we getting puts? Let's take a look here. Give me a second, just eyeballing the chart here. Trying to see what makes sense for you guys. Give you guys some good levels to go off of. I like this level here. Candle body's opening right there each time. Opening there and a sell-through trigger. Buybacks over that sell-through trigger. Perfect bounce there, sell-through trigger. Buyback is triggering the buys for a bounce. Upper range, this one's a little bit easier. That top side wick, we look left, where are we selling? And when we get under it, where are we selling to trigger? And once we sell through it, where is it failing to bounce back over? Right here, 187.44 lines up that wick there, in that area there. Upper range, if we get out of that zone. Yeah, let's just stick with those for now, I think. Let me grab that one too. All right, so for me on IWM, this is small caps. These will get hit especially hard with any bad tariff news. Things get more expensive. Small companies get most of their stuff overseas, most likely. We can see this, guys, this upper range here, 187.44. Lower range, 185 is a big one. And then the lower extreme, 184.46. So again, a range that you guys don't know just means it bounces multiple times off a bottom. It rejects multiple times off a top. That is literally just a range, which is push up, rejection, bounce, rejection, bounce, rejection. This is literally just a range, what that is. And so for me, kind of sort of going to open the middle ground here. So what I would do if we open under, let me get a better level here for a day trade put scenario, because I can kind of see how it can play, but a little bit of risk. So basically, Laura, under this 186 is playable, because we can see here, right there where that wick is, pretty much, a few pennies. But we can see when we sell under that 186 how, this candle, this blue candle, which is an up candle for me, opened here, pushed up and rejected, support became resistance. A sell through this support here, resistance all day long. So I think, I'm safe to say a sell under this 186, we can be bearish on it, but just there's a lot of quick movements in between there. So don't be blind to take it at 186 and go, okay, this is my target, Look left on here. I'm on the 1 hour chart. there's definitely some price action here to be looking at. Some of these levels here, all these candle body close in these wicks. So you guys, a bottom side wick, if you don't know, that is something is triggering a huge buyback. So the candle came all the way down here and they bought it all the way back up and they closed it here. So that's a big buyback. A topside wick is a huge sell. So, they tried to break over here and they sold all the way back down to here. So always pay attention where your wicks are at. So under 186, I definitely think, it's playable, but if they start bouncing this wick here and pushing back up to break even, you don't fight it, brother. Just take what you can get out of it, because like I said, it's just kind of in a range. In a perfect world, we break this lower range, we break this moving average, and that's when you kind of can get some puts with confidence. Any holds of 186? Definitely 186.5 to 187, because there's all these clusters, all these targets in here that I would start looking at for some price targets. Literally hover over with your mouse, figure out where multiple targets lined up, and then you just set an alert on it. So that's what I would do. Not a horrible chart, not my favorite, just because it's tricky. I don't personally like to play consolidation. I was checking charts for you guys, and like another form of consolidation is CCL. Like, definitely playable, but you got to be careful. Like if we're short in 18, 17, this is a bit of a tangent. It's like we can take our puts, but just know, this big range we're stuck in here in CCL. So it's better just to wait for some breakouts or some breakdowns. But again, IWM definitely tradable, just kind of a tricky spot. All right, going in order again. Let's see. Kath, if you're still in here, we are going to do Citibank. Love this named trade. My game plan is easy on this already. I see what I want to do if it happens. Let me step back a little bit on that comment. Little tricky here. So we can see here, Kath, if you're still in here, a breakout of 64 looks promising. If we see, sell down, what it triggers when we get under this. Let me just color it green so it's easy to figure out what I'm talking about. So that green line here, guys, we can see when we break over, the big moves that can happen. But again, don't get a break of 64 and start looking at Thursday's targets, because always leave on your pre-market data and after hours data, because it matters a lot. If you're like, okay, why did we reject there? Turn on your after hours session. They're like, oh, that's why we rejected there. So a break of 64, I like this a lot, but with caution, because recent price action, when it's over 64 or attempted breakouts of 64, it's a little bit tough here, a little bit tricky. The big push, this was the tariff news day again. Even with the tariff news day, we pushed to 64. Granted, we hit the daily 9, makes sense, we're rejected, but we closed over it. So I'm an investor, I'm a buyer, I want things to be bullish. But again, if we fail this breakout, I'm not going to fight it. So Kath, for me, your question, trend line continue, definitely. We got some short-term higher lows. So that's a low, and that's a low, and that is a higher low, and that is a low of now. It's a higher low. So definitely want the trend to continue. Again, if we believe this candle, any open, any back test. So what you do is you either, you watch your open. If market's a little bit weak, you take your puts into 64, but definitely trim heavy for sure, because that is going to act as support, or I would imagine support until it's not. Or if you don't want to play the puts, say you missed it. Let me zoom in a little bit. I'm going to go to 15 here, be a little bit easier probably to watch or to get a game plan, but maybe we don't believe that candle there. It's not really showing up on the 15. Interesting. All right, so we can still get a game plan though. Buy any dips, any of these support here. So again, education, support, push into resistance. Okay, we break over into next resistance. What do? We back test old resistance. What is it now? It is support. This is resistance. We push up, we break resistance. What do? We back test support. It is now support, and it gave way, so it's now resistance. So a little bit of a tight consolidation zone here. So what I would do if we're opening in the middle here, for me, you could take some calls, but for me, I would rather wait for a break of 63.43 to be feel a little bit better about calls. But again, have an upper range idea of where you want to go, 64. But again, don't be blind or ignorant of the previous day price action. So, okay, we take our calls here. Don't be looking up here, set sell orders here. Look left to all this afternoon trouble here. We pushed up 63.6, that's fine. But look at where we started seeing topside wicks kick in. Again, topside wicks, that is selling pressure kicking in. And ultimately, 3 15-minute, 1, 2, 3 15-minute candles. What we do, buyers gave up on the day, sellers took control back into this zone here. So calls with caution here at 63.43, upper range target 64. For me, I don't like this zone here. It's no man's land. A break under 63.11. And what do? We look to see, again, a break under 63.11. You want to see selling pressure to kick in. Easy target at least to 62.8-ish down there. It lines up with that. But again, if they break under and they bounce that, you can get your sell and they break back over, I probably wouldn't be fighting it, keep averaging down puts because they might break over and push over. That's a reclaim of support, and buyers saying, hey, we're not ready to sell down yet. Maybe markets are sideways or whatever. But if markets are weak, XLF, the sector's weak, yeah, take your puts under 63.11. Even better, even more confirmation under that 63 zone. Very tradable. Let's see where we open. Let's see if we gap up. But definitely that 64 is one. That's a zone to watch. But we break over that and hold, and sellers are going to give up very, very quick. All right. Make sure I get at least one person's request. Each person we do before I do the repeats. iPhone 2, you want hood? Let's do it. Quick drink of water, guys. Look at that lower range. 40.50. You better not be buying your puts there. You better be selling there. Interesting here. All right. Let me zoom out real quick. Yep, I can get you a game plan on this. No problem. Upper range resistance, lower range support in here. We need a middle range for sure. We definitely got a lot of activity in here. Give me a second, I'm gonna mark a couple levels for you. Then I'll zoom in. So I'm just holding my mouse cursor over, guys, finding levels that make sense on, again, I don't know why that didn't stay in drawing mode. Pivots up and down, back and forth. Oh my gosh. Oh, what are you doing, Thinkorswim? Why are you doing that to me? All right, let's roll with that for now. So 4-hour chart here, and I'll zoom in for you just to get a day trade perspective, of course. What I'm eyeing here is, definitely this lower range here, 39 to 39.29. We can see we get under that, selling over that, and we hold and we back test support with a moving average. Like, absolutely, we bounce there, makes sense. Again, computers, algos kicking in. Upper range is red zone here, focus on that red shade area. We're rejecting over and over. We push over and break it. We hold. They attempt to push over. Really no follow through, back under it. Rejection, back under it. So we're kind of selling no progress last 2 days, but no breakouts either. So bigger move might be brewing on this setup, you guys. Definitely a good name to watch this week. Let's zoom in. Let's get a game plan here. Zoomed in a little too much here. So we can see clearly rejecting the daily 20, rejecting the daily 20, rejecting, never got there. Bouncing support, tricky zone. For me, I'm a very low risk conservative trader. I want to see like a breakout kind of over this range here for a little more confidence of not necessarily, I mean, yeah, we'll keep it red. It's red for now because that's resistance. So iPhone. So definitely I want to see a break and hold of this zone here that says, hey, we broke resistance, we're holding it. You know, SPY's pushing, markets are pushing, whatever gives me confidence because we're now reclaimed a moving average. So basically 42 for me. We can buy the dip here at 41.5, but just know again, you know, push up to here, look for that as a final target. But if we start, you know, kind of faltering out here, consolidation, getting smacked down, breakouts are not happening, we sell through it, I'm not fighting it because if 41.5 gives up, I'm looking for this move here, continuation down in puts. 41.5 gives up, I'm looking for breakdown, retest. This is textbook right there. A breakdown, retest. Look at that wick right there. Textbook, breakdown, retest, puts for a leg down. So definitely playable on calls here, but with risk. So 41.5, definitely look at these Friday high wicks. Definitely look at Friday, Thursday zone here. Failed breakout, that zone there. And absolutely, if you push into this, you better be trimming if you got a bunch. If you got one or two, you bought the bottom on calls, sell the top, move on through day. Or breakout, retest, reposition. So you bought the 41.5, so you bought the 42 calls, you sold there, we broke out, you got a little bit of FOMO because you're not anymore. Well, break down, retest the 42 support, get some 42.5 or 43 calls, and ride that trend up. You know, we can get back in, you guys. We are day traders. We can get back in as much as we want. You know, obviously, depending on your portfolio size, but a sell under this, I'm not bullish on it for a day trade. Might be bullish on a dip buy here, but definitely a zone to watch here. Consolidation. But if we break that 42 zone and hold it, I think sellers give up on that. Kind of a nice chart. Not bad. You know what? Send alert for this one. I trade this sometimes. Nice setup. Z3, good to have you, man. Glad to let you know. Yeah, keep an eye on this chart, brother. Definitely a level to watch there. All right. All right. Let's see. I'm caught up. Going to some double requests here. Catherine wants Walmart and Disney. Let me see what one, in my opinion, looks better, easier to trade. I'll do one of those first. Walmart and Disney. Disney, man, remember that 86, you guys were talking about that, how Disney was lagging? Take your shorts at 86. Damn. All right. Let's go with Walmart, Kath, if you're still in here, because I already know what I see. And hopefully you guys too, if you guys been here for the last 47 minutes or several weeks, you know, support, resistance. It's just a dancing game back and forth. Resistance is now support, breaks over, sell down, back testing resistance, sell through that. Tried to catch this damn thing on Thursday, missed it by like $5 entry. I was pissed. Sell through, it is now resistance. Break over, it is support. What do we do in pre-market? If we believe this a little bit weak move, this is a nice chart. And I might be watching this again this week. So I'm going to watch a top side breakout. Send some alerts somewhere over 93.4. And this breakdown retest. So I need it at or above. And that is my trade plan right in front of your guys' eyes right there. So if we believe this move, this candle here, this chart is fairly easy, you guys. A sell down retest. Again, I know we never got it quite there on Thursday, but same thought process. So again, we take puts at the upper ranges, upper extremes, upper resistance zone where our risk is small. Okay, so we take puts here on a retest, so a breakdown retest, but we don't hold our puts for up here. No, we reclaim this level and we start cautiously being bullish because they reclaim support, you know, and you get on the on the call train. Okay, but you don't take calls when we break support. You know, you take calls at support. Does that make sense, everybody? So a breakdown retest. I'm slightly bearish on this name as of this setup. Any sell under 93. Again, puts. Where do we sell? Look left. 92.8 probably is a very good target because it lines up with those wicks there. On a 30-minute chart, we laid down under 92.8. Where do we keep going? This is easy. Last week's price action, 92, let's call it 92.6, somewhere in this range here. Break that. Look at those candle body consolidation there, 92.2. You literally just, you get in, well, you build the plan first, you get in, and you just mark those alerts, and you just trim all the way down, and sometimes it works perfect. Again, I'm salty on that trade. I missed that trade. That one hurt. But again, any breaks over for me, pretty much 93.4. Cautiously bullish, but not looking for a huge day, just basically looking for Friday's high as a final target. Because I can see how much selling pressure last week kicks in when we get, you know, upper this upper range here. Yeah, Finis, you killed it. I think you're in Walmart calls last week, weren't you, Finis, on Friday? I seen you in pro chat. Nice trade, man. All right. Tesla has earnings, Colin, but I will go over it for you. And since we're talking about it, you guys, my quick, I'm not gonna say one and only, but because I'm gonna try and save people the next 2 days. Tesla is Tuesday after hours, you guys. Don't buy a stupid Tesla out of money contract. Again, TSLL. It is the exact same thing, just a leveraged share position, leveraged stock position. It is, look at leg down, consolidation, leg down, go back to Tesla, leg down, consolidation, leg down. It's the exact same thing, you guys. Play TSLL, please, for earnings. Do not blow your port on Tesla, the actual options for Tesla. You guys are going to blow your port. Column, earnings are coming up. Trend line is broken as of now, but some support coming up here. I think it's better for a little bit of a range pocket here for you. But yeah, I'll probably be hands off Tesla today or tomorrow and Tuesday, that is. I don't know. If I have a good Monday, might be a little frisky and buy some earnings, a lotto, but we'll see. All right. So I sell down. For me, that 244, again, aside from earnings, purely from a chart perspective, basically that 245, we can see how buyers kicked in, buyers kick in, sell down, hard sell down under 245, hard sell. So now you got to think we break this trend line. I'm personally not bullish on this until we start trickling in this 236, because if we get lucky on 236, we can grab that top side wick there. We can grab this cluster here of volume right here and maybe get a bounce. But for me, I think it's let the sellers, at least at the open, if we open anywhere down here, sellers let them take their turn in that 236 and maybe even 234, that Friday low. I don't know, but for me, I need to see, you know, a reclaim of like Friday close, a reclaim or hold of support for me to want to be bullish on it for a day trade. But again, anything can happen. Tesla moves crazy, but again, I don't love right now where it's opening. I don't love it for calls, I'll be honest. So I need to see, you know, at 236, if we look here, that wick, big buyback. We get under 236, sell over it, big buyback, reclaim, big buyback. So for me, 236, take your shot, absolutely. But I sell through that. I'm not fighting it. I'm not going to keep averaging down calls, you know, on a losing trade for sure. NVIDIA and then Disney. And then I'm going to show you guys a couple small port trades I like. NVIDIA. Kind of the same thing. A lot of charts the same, you guys. NVIDIA. Let's see. NVIDIA. Let's see if you're bullish or bearish. All right. So NVIDIA's got some things working against it, you know, as of Thursday and Friday price action. But again, kind of like Tesla again, kind of selling into this pocket here of support. It's probably going to turn red again because that's my default color, but so again, selling into support here, if you're not in puts already, it's not a spot to start taking puts. If you want to be bearish on this name, you be smart, you be patient, you wait for a retest of some levels here. So definitely this overhead pocket here. Kind of show you what my game plan would be if I were to trade NVIDIA. So any opens over. Does this make sense to you guys? So I'm selling down, it bounced back. So a little bit of cluster here and then failed breakout. So for me, I just take repeatable trades that happen over and over in the market because they're high probability trades. So they push up into 102, failed breakout. Okay, so we open here, take your calls, but into 102 and an hourly 20 trickling in, and markets are sideways or down or at best sideways. I'm taking my puts there. I might short that double top zone there. We break over 102, I'm not going to fight it because that's probably going to break out that level there and they'll continue up for calls. But calls, off 101, pushing that 102, but anything opening under 101 and bounces and pushes look weak, take your puts into here. But again, puts at 101, you're not looking for 98 right away. There's all this shit in between here. There's absolutely Friday's low. What price is that, you guys? If you guys can read that, 100. That is like the psychological number in trading. Round numbers, 110, 120, 150, 200, but 100, that's a sexy round number. You think algos kicked in there to bounce it? Absolutely, they did. So do not watch this move down here and go, okay, now I want my puts at 100, which is Friday's low and its support. And then you get smoked Monday morning, first trade of the day, and now you're down 18%, 20% on your port. Okay. Take your puts, sell your puts, watch for a bounce, take your calls. Sell under, yeah, some selling pressure is probably going to kick in. But again, look left. How far do we got to look left before we start seeing bounces? 99, big time, big bounces there. I know this green is pretty hideous right now. Sorry. So yeah, we sell under, what was that, 101 I said, or 100? Yeah, we sell under 100. Look at that battle that kicks in right there. Buyers and sellers fighting, battling. Gets real ugly under 99, 98. So yeah, take your puts under 100, but just know it could bounce very, very hard. You could be 25% green on puts, and then 5 minutes later, a couple minutes later, you're back to break even. So big consolidation there on 100. Personally, that's not my jam to take puts. Yeah, it's under a psych level, but we know there's a lot of consolidation there, which can be very, very fast moves back and forth, back and forth. But definitely tradable under 100. Just it's probably a trade I would wait on personally, unless the markets are very weak. We have some tariff news or something like that, or some market data, whatever you want to call it. All right, Disney, then I'm going to do a couple in my small port watch list. I think I had a couple that I was eyeing. Disney, we have, as of Friday, broke over. Again, daily 9 moving average, formed support, bounced, support, closed over it. We're now small gap under. So for me, drawing really quick. Look at that 85, you guys. Look at how price moves around the 85 zone there. So now 85 zone combined with the moving average overhead all day long. If markets are sideways or weak, a breakdown, retest 85. So you take your calls, sell your calls 85. If we start seeing some double top, weak action here, I'm taking puts 85. Why am I taking puts 85? I'm looking for a sell down under 85. Sell under 85. Break 85, sell under. You'll probably zoom left even more. That 85 price action. Yep, this is a better example. right here. A sell under support, selling pressure, selling pressure. Sell under support, no breakout, selling pressure. Absolutely. But again, we're day traders. A push up and a hold 85. Get your calls with caution. I say with caution because we see all this rejection here, all this rejection here. So definitely we can take calls over 85, but again, don't say, hey, first target's 86. No, first target is all this stuff in between here. Tons of levels in between here to play. But for me, I think the focus of 85, I like the setup. Actually, let me move this alert down and got some of the guesswork out of the way for me, for sure. Nice request, you guys. Well, as we break basically 84. So if we break this little cluster consolidation zone here, we get under 84. Get one more line in here for you guys. This is a nice chart. So 84 to 85 to 84, nice little range, bounce, break down like this, you guys. When I say breakout or breakdown retests, like textbook. A break of support, a retest, sniper entry on your puts there. You see no red. Again, this is a perfect world in hindsight. You get your entry, you see no red. Instantly green, bounce up, low zone of the day, retest, failed, leg down, textbook, breakdown retests. That's the plan if we break under 85. Man, love that. Of course, it's in hindsight, but all right. Give me 1 second. I think I didn't write them down like a dummy, but I think I was looking at a couple setups here, you guys, and then I'll do a recap on SPY and QQQ. You guys are fairly quiet in the chat. If you have any questions, let me know. What was I looking at? I thought I wrote down something here. Disney went over that. DraftKings. A lot of consolidation. Maybe I didn't have anything in my notes. That's my dog notes, 8 o'clock. That's actually the neighbor's dog, man. That neighbor's dog barks all day, all night. My dog's actually being good. He's sleeping. Yeah, guys, I'm not going to force anything. Walmart, I really like. We already went over that. Disney was decent. We went over that. I'm not seeing a lot I love on the watch list, so alerts could be very quiet for me tomorrow. But if anything changes, I'll definitely know. But great request, request by Kath. I would say #1 chart for me as of now. Things can change a lot, but it's definitely Walmart because we can see if we sell through this, what can happen possibly on Walmart. We break over. I know fitness was in this last week. We break over 93, 93.50. We see the big move that happens. All right. Let's do a recap, you guys. If you guys got jet out, you can, but a recap on SPY and QQQ, and then we'll end our session. So again, you guys that may have joined late, SPY 525 is my focus. 525. If you can only have one line in your chart tomorrow, it's 525. I feel like I'm repeating myself. 525. So again, we see what happens. Let me go to a smaller time frame just to kind of show our price action here. 90 days, perfect. Big old thick line, so it's easy to see price action. So on the 15-minute chart, should be easy for you guys to figure out. We sell into that, take your puts into that, but don't start your put position there because we bounce hard. Okay. This was Jerome Powell talking, but just for, education on the class, we sell into it, sell out. We bounce, break, you caught the bounce, possibly fine, but ultimately breakouts failed, and we get a solid 15 close under. That's bearish. Sell under, leg down. See how far I got to zoom left. Show you guys just why I think 525 is important. This was April 11th. Kind of a battle. Candle body open, rejecting over it. Sorry, failed breakouts. We sell under, selling pressure. Big buyback, attempted buyback, closed over, next candle, selling pressure. Over it. What happens when we get over it? Sellers for the time being are giving up. Okay. So that is my plan, you guys, next week. or this week, especially tomorrow. Any sells under 525, I'm bearish on the day, but not, again, I'm not saying 512 is going to happen. I'm bearish on Friday till Friday's low. We sell under that and it's game on. So I guess a safer entry for you guys, if you guys like to play it safe, is a sell under Friday's low, which if we look left of Thursday, how that triggers there. So let me draw it here. So see that Friday low and how that lines up. Horrible straight line, sorry. But we sell through that. So look to present day now. So basically right where this candle is opening, let's call it 524. Any sells under 524, puts for sure. In between here, you can take them under 525, but just know this little bit of range here could bounce you. Over 525, I'm bullish for sure on the day. But again, realistic targets, I'm looking left, not looking for much on Monday. I'm looking left, find those targets there. QQQ. As of now, we are breaking trend line. Hourly 20 is still smacking it down. Let's see where we open though. QQQ. Similar thesis. Big bounce zone. Big bounce zone first attempt, sell down, resistance. So right now, this is support. But any sell under 442, look to see if we see a follow through. Take your puts for sure, but treat it as a scalp into this, probably 441, 25-ish zone. Because again, don't wait for a break of 442 and start looking down here. It's like, no, you got Friday's low. It's absolutely your first target. Should be your first target. You're in a couple, you got a big portfolio. We break Friday's low. That's where you get bearish with confidence. With confidence. You're in a work meeting, you see we're all the way down here. Don't start your put position down here on support, on low of the week. No. Take your puts, ride your puts down, sell, sell, sell. Look into a call position here. We take calls at support, puts at resistance. Okay. Assuming nothing crazy happens at work tomorrow for me, I'll give you guys my morning watch list as usual. Pay attention, but it's probably going to be a repeat of this 442.17 and that 524, 525 pocket on SPY. But with that, you guys, going to end the chat tonight. You guys, I appreciate you guys sticking around on Easter holiday. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit tonight. DMs are always open. Send me a DM. Let's talk if you guys need some help or help with the charting setup. I'm here to help you guys. Fitness, thank you for sticking around, you guys. Laura, everybody, Kath, thank you guys. With that, you guys, I'm in the chat. Have a great rest of your evening, and we'll check you guys this week. Later.